Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm here with Hollister and Tyrone. Unfortunately, Malik has some prior engagement, so he won't be able to join us today. But we're going to have a quick one today because today is our actual NBA fantasy draft. Every year I throw a fantasy league using Yahoo Fantasy, and this year we getting cracking. Last year we had a big issue because obviously COVID, and nobody anticipated that to, come through and shut down the NBA. But this year we ready and lock and loaded. I'm excited for this season, especially watching the preseason game. As you know, Hollis said, now we're both net fans, so we are hyped. So just to move things along, we want to talk about some of the three major stories and give our predictions of this NBA season. So we're going to start with Kyrie Irving. We're going to start with Kyrie Irving. As you know, he's a Brooklyn Net guy. He decided a couple of, days ago that he wasn't going to speak to the media. Then he decided to speak to the media. And now the biggest thing that everybody's talking about right now is the burning of the sage that he's been doing so far between every game and everything like that. So Hollis, I wanted to get your opinion on that. What do you think about him doing that? Do you care? Do you think it's a big deal? Let me know.
I mean, with the whole burning the stage, I know a lot of people that do it. So like when I hear about it, it's like, all right, it's kind of normal. They're trying to purify the energy in the air, which 2020 showed us a lot of people should start looking into it. But I also feel like with the whole Kyrie doing in certain arenas, some teams not gonna care, and I feel like some teams that will be like dramatic about it. I feel like the Lakers might say no. Just, certain teams, like especially with him and LeBron, the issues they've been having. So I feel like he's gonna, target him, especially like, he can't do that here. Certain players, probably like Houston, certain teams that just gonna be like petty in a sense. So he can't do what he do because he did it the other day in Boston and in the Barclays Center. And he pretty much played good. So teams might try to use that to prevent him from playing well. So we just gonna see what happens. But me personally, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay, Tyrone.
Listen, man, I don't see anything wrong with it. We all grew up with West Indian parents. It's a common thing with West Indians and stuff like that. So I don't see an issue with burning sage and just purifying the air and your vibes and spirit around you. So I don't see anything wrong with it. I think people made a big deal because it's who's doing it and the player that it is, and it's Kyrie. He's been in a lot of controversy lately. So I think that's why people are just being petty about it with him and making a big deal. But I don't see anything wrong with it. I actually think it's pretty neat, to be honest with you. And I guess I'm saying that because I've been around that kind of culture and stuff like that. So listen, it's just Kyrie. Just let him do what he's gonna do. If it makes him happy, let him do it. You want a happy Kyrie if you're a net fan, right?
Yeah. I mean, as far as the net thing is, you finished, T? I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
As far as the net thing, I agree. I think, look, if it ain't hurting nobody, it is what it is. Like you said, we all grew up in a West Indian household with Christians, actually, first, whatever. At the end of the day, some people look at it different ways. He's doing it because more of like a spiritual thing, because he said that, the tribe, I forgot what tribe it was that, adopted his mother and everything like that. So he called himself a black native because, his mother, I guess, was Native American and different things like that. So he's really trying to get into that culture. Kyrie is an eccentric individual where he likes to be engaged in certain things spiritually, and he's still finding himself. He's a young man. He's still trying to find himself. So at the end of the day, it ain't hurting anybody. But to Hollis's point, he's absolutely right. They're going to be some teams that don't want to give them any type of edge per se to get anything off. Like, some people might feel like, they've been playing way better, you know what I mean, when he does that, because now he feels like, even if it's a placebo effect where it's like, you know what, that energy's away, then, keep everybody safe and everything's like that. If they allow me to do it, I'll do it, etc. and etc. So some people might not want to, like, like a strategical edge for their opponent. So like, for instance, like the time where Chris Paul came and kicked Steph Curry off the court for shooting early. He didn't want him to have that. So you know what I mean? Like different things like that. You got to go based on the person's home. So I get it. But he still does it in the locker room. And I know, Town, you hit the nail on the head. I think people like making fun of it now because it's Kyrie and because he's doing it and because he's always outspoken and be able to
Yeah.
do like all these different things. I feel that they try to like, oh, he's saying this, he's saying flat earth, he's saying all these other things and nobody knows what he's talking about and et cetera and et cetera. So they make a big deal out of it. But we all know that Phil Jackson was really heavy into the Native American culture. He used to burn sage as well with the different
Exactly.
players, as well as some reefer, right? He
That's
used to
right.
spark blunts, whatever him too. But at the end of the day, he's believed into the incense and the meditation and doing those things with his players. And like I said, if it's going to keep them healthy, keep Kyrie at bay, keep Kyrie on a different path and focus on the game itself, by all means, take care of it and do it. I don't see nothing big on it at all. And I feel that, right now, people are just grasping at straws. There is a. I want to mention this real quick. We're not going to discuss this in this podcast because we don't have much time. But briefly, my boy Aubrey, he was on the podcast a couple of episodes ago, and I were having a discussion about chemistry and like the biggest thing about players knowing their role and etc. And I was explaining to him that I feel that the Brooklyn Nets have more chemistry with the players that they have, even though Kyrie and Katie didn't play a lot of games with the unit last year, than the Lakers acquiring 5 new players. And we're going back and forth into that. So just keep that on the back burner for next week, because we had a big long text thing going back and forth and it was crazy. But let's keep that for next week. But moving along with the information that we're talking about, again, the second news story that I'd like to touch base on is De'Aaron Fox, right? So De'Aaron Fox, we all know him. He's a player from the Sacramento Kings. Good kid, good player, not garbage, plays well. And, recently we all watch different, sports outlets. We watch ESPN, we watch, The Jump, Undisputed, whatever you watch, we watch it. So recently, the guy's name is Amin. He was an ex, GM for I think the Suns or something like that.
You mean
But he's
Amino As I
yeah,
know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Alassane,
Amino
right?
Hassan or something,
Yeah,
Hassan,
yeah,
Asin or something like that.
yes, yeah. So you know who he is. So
Yeah.
recently on the Jump, they were asking him like, do you expect, John Morant to take a big leap? And they was talking about that, yeah. And then he came out and was like, oh, John Morant is what De'Aaron Fox thinks he is. It's like, yo, like, and even the other hosts and Paul Pierce was like, yo, why you even bring up De'Aaron Fox? It got nothing to do with him. Like, why even mention that? And De'Aaron Fox was tight. He's like, yo, why you even coming to disrespectful to me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know you. I'm minding my business. And he tweeted out, boys a B, and everybody can tell him I said that. Right. And then your boy Amin came back and said, look, I apologize for hurting your feelings. An afternoon at Chuck E. Cheese on me as soon as your season is over, May 17th. So with a
Oh
question
my
mark. So now he's
God.
trying to play him. Now, I look at it like this, and I'm going to let you guys get into it. I'm just going to give my quick takes that I'm talking right now. Is that, look, De'Aaron Fox is not a garbage player. He was not a guy who got drafted and was a bust. He actually put in work, and a lot. Even last year, the matches he had against the Memphis Grizzlies and John Morant, he actually outplayed John Morant. No disrespect to John Morant. John Morant is a big phenom. He's a big name. He's a star. His team made it to the playoffs. Now let's think about it for a second. John Morant has a better team. He has a better ran organization. Everybody know the Sacramento Kings has been up and down. Vlade Divac just resigned because he was doing such a horrible job as a GM. They got players who are disgruntled, don't like the position. They got Luke Walton. He's a decent coach, but he just got there recently, not really making a lot of noise. So they still finding themselves. So to compare that and just out of nowhere just mention the dude's name, I think is just OD disrespectful. I don't blame De'Aaron Fox one bit for going at especially the way he did it, and that's why I kind of understand where Kyrie was coming from with the media and the quote unquote pawns and guys is making these narratives for no reason. It had nothing to do with it. It wasn't like, do you think who's better, these two players? He just brought him up out of nowhere for no reason. So Tyrone, what is your opinion on that?
That was pathetic. That's totally uncalled for and pathetic because I'm actually a fan of De'Aaron Fox. So I found that to be very disrespectful to him. Sorry, I find that to be very disrespectful for him to just come out there and say and it's like you said, he just randomly picked his name. I wasn't even aware of this, so I didn't even hear this until you brought it up to me earlier today. And it's like, come on, I can understand if you were comparing the two, if that was like some, like Rachel Nichols says, oh, would you rather have on your team right now? And you said that. But to bring him up randomly, that's like how we make fun of like Dickie Simpkins. Like we'll talk about this bench warmer as a champion, and we'll basically like bring up a guy like that. That's like an insult. It's an insult to him too, Dickie Simpkins, but we don't care because he was trash. But to just do that to De'Aaron like that, I think that's messed up. De'Aaron is a very good player. He's just unfortunately he's on a franchise that has struggled for a very long time. I don't think that's his fault. I think he's one of the bright spots there, and he's trying to help that franchise because De'Aaron Fox is a baller. I don't care what nobody say. So for him to do that is totally uncalled for, and I don't have any issue with De'Aaron Fox's response and how he was insulting him back because you just put his name out there. So okay, now I got to do the same thing. I know they say two wrongs will make a right, but oh well. In this situation, I got to do it. You're on national TV and you bring my name up for no reason in a bad way. So
Exactly.
I think he's wrong.
Yeah. Hollister?
I think it's utterly ridiculous that he went to that level to talk about De'Aaron Fox, talk about I'll take you to Chuck E. Cheese. First of all, I like both De'Aaron Fox and John Morant. Both guys are two of the future, point guards that's going to lead the NBA.
Facts.
And he's talking about De'Aaron Fox like De'Aaron Fox is garbage. De'Aaron Fox just signed a max contract. That right there says a lot that he's worth, invested in going forward for the future of the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah.
And to go to that extent just to randomly pick on him out of nowhere it's like, come on. It's like this guy look like he's being a bully. De'Aaron Fox don't bother nobody. He goes out on the court. He plays his thing. He does what he does off the court, his video games. He don't give nobody no trouble. And then you go just randomly. It's like I feel like he's trying to start a problem between him and John Morant. Both these guys could be friends off the court. We don't know. I'm sure they probably are, but you trying to cause a whole friction. It's pointless. You bring up De'Aaron Fox for no reason, and then when he lashes out at you, you're going to be upset and try to start a whole controversial story on him. And when you started the whole thing, stupid.
Yeah, I agree, man. I just feel like it's very. You have to really take it easy with a lot of these guys because it's unfortunate. A lot of these media outlets and media people, they need something to talk about. And to me, that came out of left field. Like I watch The Jump, and a lot of times I don't catch it sometime live on television. I usually catch it like the little clips on YouTube, and I watch.
Yeah, me too.
Stuff like that. That's pretty much how I get a lot of that stuff. Since the COVID joint happened, sometimes while I'm doing my work, I put on First Take and Get Up. I like listening to some of those things. And I'm an ESPN bias, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, like for him to come out there and say that, like the question it wasn't even no comparison. It's like one thing they say, what do you think? Who's the point guard of the future? And then he said, oh, this, that, then that's a little bit different. It's still kind of grimy, but it's different. But for him just to come out of nowhere and just mention this kid's name for no reason, it's like you said, Hollister, just to start up a rift between two players, which probably won't, because I'm pretty sure they're mature enough to know it's not even about that. But also is to pretty much stir this narrative that like De'Aaron Fox is not that good, where we seen him average like over 20 a game and doing his things with assists and playing well. You know what I'm saying? Now he got hurt a couple of times, but he's on a team that's not that good. It's like penalizing the guy for killing on a team or playing well on the team that is badly ran, and he don't have, much options, you know what I'm saying? Like, so he's just pretty much just stagnated on this team. So I think it's unfortunate, and I do agree with, we all have the pretty much in agreement that Amin kind of wilded out, and I used to give him a pass sometimes. I think he's a cornball a little bit, but for him to do that, I think he's a clown for that.
He's a cornball because the apology don't even sound legit. It's like, oh, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings.
So I'll take out and Chuck E. Cheese.
Like, come on, man.
On May 17th. So he's pretty much trying to say that they're not going to make the playoffs. He's a little kid, and I'm going to take him out. I'm going to take him out to think. So he's already disrespecting them on many different levels.
It's probably the only thing he's right about. Okay, yeah, they may not make the playoffs, but no. I'm not saying.
No, I get it. I'm not trying to say.
All right, you could be. I mean, yeah, he want to be smart about it, but dude, all right, we get it. You think the Kings aren't going to make the playoffs, but is it really worth saying what you said? Like that's your comeback. He's a millionaire, by the way. He just signed a max deal. You're sitting there working on The Jump with Rachel Nichols, who's probably getting paid more than you do. So you're not even like the top dog on your stat at your profession, and you're getting mad at him.
Pops up on the show here and there.
You're getting mad at a player that just signed a $170 million contract. I think De'Aaron's going to win that battle, so you should just leave it alone.
Yeah, I agree, man, and I feel like sometimes I think some of these media guys, they get jealous, and that's why I was saying that you got to be very careful when I was having that discussion when we had in the podcast and also in my little group text with the guys. When you start telling these guys have to do certain things, I'm like, at the end of the day, you have to understand is that, these guys are human beings, and that's because they make $1 million doesn't mean you could just talk to them any kind of way or treat them any type of way. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they have an obligation, but they don't have to do certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can talk to you just strictly about basketball. I can talk to you about certain things. I don't have to do certain things that you guys anticipate that these guys have to do. And I feel that a lot of these media outlets, they feel that they can just say whatever they want because, it's journalism. And then they turn around and want to get an interview with these guys. And when the guys don't want to talk to them, all of a sudden they're trying to paint this picture like they are bad and stuff like that. So, at the end of the day, like I said, we all side with De'Aaron Fox, and I hope he has a great year, and I hope he makes, eat his words. I mean, granted, he's not going to make the playoffs, but I'm saying at the end of the day, I want him to let him know that, you can, they got two words for you. And those of you who remember wrestling, yeah, I know what those things mean. Now moving forward,
That's
I
right.
mean, we have another topic. We already know about the James Harden situation and how he was acting, but we're not going to get into that. We want to talk about this whole Clippers and Kawhi Leonard situation. Now, recently there's some audio of a voicemail, and this is a gentleman, I forgot his name. He's suing Jerry West, saying that he was one of the mediators who helped orchestrate getting Kawhi Leonard over to the Clippers, and saying that Jerry West promised him $2.5 million, and he reneged on it, and blah blah blah. And the NBA is investigating that because obviously that's tampering. Because if you are speaking to somebody and trying to force an issue and force a hand and try to have like a leg up, you're messing up the integrity of the whole free agent process and stuff like that. I kind of feel there's a little bit BS because I feel that we already know that guys talk to each other, whether it's on the plane, whether it's through text, whether it's through whatever, to convince each other to play with each other. That's the type of league we in, generation that we in right now. So for them to try to like make this into a bigger thing, I feel that it's kind of an issue. I don't know the full details, so it could be some griminess going on, but I feel that it's a little bit of an issue involved with that. So Hollis, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the whole story. If you're not, then I'll let Tyron go first. But if you are, you can give your opinion on that.
I'll just touch on it real quick. I heard a little bit about it, but I look at it this way: if I'm a free agent in the NBA and Jerry West want me to come to whatever team he's, except if it's for the Knicks and certain organization, but if that man calls me the logo, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna listen to what he's trying to pitch, and I'm like, I really take it into real consideration. Can't disrespect that man. The man is a legend. But the whole thing with the Kawhi thing is already done. Ain't like the NBA can say, all right, Kawhi, you can't go to the Clippers. We're gonna, erase your contract. You gotta go back to Toronto. Can't do nothing about it already. He's been in LA 2 years already. The damage, I wouldn't say the damage is done. He's been in long enough already. It's too late. You can investigate all you want. What you gonna do? Take away draft picks? The Clippers pretty much gave away all the draft picks.
That's what I'm saying. They ain't got nothing. So they already doing well.
You're gonna give the owner a fine. The owner's a billionaire. That's be chump change to him.
Facts.
They just trying to savage them, so I guess they trying to put more pressure on them, so they don't. I guess give them distraction, so they don't try to come out the West. They favorites to the Lakers and all of that stuff. But you know how that go.
Yeah, Tyron.
It's a joke. I don't see anything. I don't see any truth to this. I mean, it could be it's a guy that's probably just listen. They said he grew up and went to school with Uncle Dennis. Everybody knows who Uncle Dennis is. So I think it's just a guy trying to get a come up. He's probably he feels away. He probably didn't get no bread from them, and he probably wants something. I don't. Let's be real. When Kawhi Leonard was on San Antonio, and the rumor came out that he requested a trade, we all know he wanted to go to LA. Now it was either the Lakers or the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't. This was even before he went to Toronto. So it was just not. It wasn't a matter of if. It was a matter of. It wasn't. He was going to LA regardless, no matter where he got traded to the next year, which was Toronto. He played that 1 year and he signed with LA. Now the only question was Lakers or Clippers. I don't think he wanted to. I don't think he was going to go there and play with LeBron. He seemed like the type of guy that wants to play against LeBron instead of playing with him. So I thought the Lakers were kind of out of it in a way. I think the only way he would have stayed with the Toronto Raptors is if they would have traded for Paul George, but Toronto refused to give him Siakam. So it was either Lakers or Clippers, and let's be real. He said it. He said, "I'm from LA. I grew up here. I know a lot of people." He was coming to LA regardless. It didn't matter what guy talked to Jerry West or Rob Pelinka. He was going there. So this whole notion that he was paid off to come to LA is a joke to me. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah. So I agree with you, man. I feel the guy's name is Johnny Wykes. There was he's close to Leonard and he's best friends, like you said, with Kawhi's uncle Dennis, who's his manager and agent. And it was all this different stuff like that. The Clippers are saying that they're 100% participating with the investigation with the league. They don't believe it to be that way. Don't get me wrong. Cool. So Kawhi wanted to be that in LA, like you said. I feel that the issue was that, like you said, I don't think he wanted to play with LeBron. He just wanted to see what the Clippers were going to do. Now, it's rumored that Kawhi is a little bit of a prima donna in the sense that he want to have certain things. His uncle was asking for like a house out there in Southern California, a private jet at his disposal, so when he has to leave and do different things like that. And like I said, I'm all for the players getting their bread and getting the perks that they gotta get, but You have to be a guy who really is about that. For y'all to have that 3-1 lead and blow it to Denver and do these different things like that, and you have the freaking organization against Steve Ballmer's, wishes in a sense to like freaking, like hold their team hostage by giving up all these draft picks in their future for you. And it's liable that Kawhi can say, you know what, I don't like it here, and just leave next year and either go to the Lakers or go to another team and bounce. You know what I'm saying? So like, and then you leave them with what, Paul George? You know what I'm saying? Like, and we already know no draft pick, and no disrespect to Paul George, but when it comes into those big moments, he kind of like shells up. And not to say that he's not a good leader, but there's certain things that like he's not gonna do. You know what I mean? Not get me. You know what I mean? So it is kind of messed up, and I feel sometimes these guys get a little too involved in themselves. Like I was talking about this the other day with my brothers, and I was like, when I used to hear these stories with celebrities, and they'd be like, yeah, when I come here in my green room, I have to have green M&Ms and only green M&Ms, and they have to have all the M's sitting up. The water has to be 66 degrees Fahrenheit, or else I can't drink it. You know what I mean? The air has to be this. I have to have Celine Dion playing in the background. I was like, when you start doing these things, like you never been nowhere and you never had nothing, to me, I feel it's like a slap in the face to the regular people and the people in your fans. Now, don't get me wrong, Kawhi, get your stuff, do your thing, but now you're getting a little overboard. So if I do believe that guy was probably like, they probably hit him up like, yeah, I know him, I can get you some help. Like, yeah, just shoot him a text, and they probably shot him a text, and he's like, okay, they're gonna pay me for $2.5 million for the text, and Kawhi's already coming, and the guy's like, I want my money, and it's like, well, you didn't really do nothing. Kawhi been coming, so why I even pay you? You get what I'm saying?
I think that was the issue right there.
Exactly. And I feel that he probably feel hurt. Like, I made him come. He was going to stay in Toronto. He was going to do this. Who knows? He might have stayed in Toronto because Toronto's going to give him the freaking city. You know what I mean? From the state.
He wasn't staying in Toronto.
I know. I'm just trying to say that as far as perks is concerned, like the stuff that they were swearing that Kawhi requested, they're going to give him housing. They're going to pay him.
I don't believe that because there's another story out there that said that he wanted to make the team to make sure he was able to still live in San Diego because he's from there. Yeah. And that was the issue, not really the whole LA thing. That's why, some things you hear, it's like, all right, now that's BS because he lives in San Diego. It's pretty much him wanting to be in San Diego because I think he takes like a private jet from San Diego to the Clippers practices. I think that was the issue with Harold. And Lou Williams.
They got that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't. First of all, not to even change the subject a little bit, but Kawhi Leonard is a 2-time NBA champion and stuff like that. He won a championship with 2 different teams, Finals MVP. He actually earned some of his privileges. I don't know what Paul George did to earn his privileges. So I do agree with like Harold and those guys for complaining about. I know they would complain about both of them, but Paul George especially. You hit the side of the backboard, bro. That's going to be an unforgettable scene right there. You got to win a title to redeem that. Yeah. And Kawhi got rings. You don't. So I don't know why he got that special treatment. I don't get it.
I feel like there's only certain players should have that treatment in the NBA, and we all know who they are. The guys that go out there and prove it. LeBron, KD,
Steph Curry. I mean, Steph Curry is not that kind of guy that's going to do that anyway. But those guys,
more down to earth.
They earn that kind of privilege.
Not James Harden.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think some of these players, and I mean, we have a little time, so we could dabble a little bit on that James Harden thing. But I feel like some players, you know what I mean, they get. You see, it's a new era. You know what I'm saying? And it's like with this new era, a lot of guys, they feel because of it. Don't get me wrong, they're talented, and I feel like they deserve to get their bread and do what they have to do. However, I do feel that a lot of them, come here and they think that, oh, I'm supposed to do this and I'm supposed to have this, and they care more about the idea of being in the league, right? But at the same time, it's like, no. So that's the problem that I see. Like they just like the idea of being in the league. They don't have the love to be like, you know what? Yeah, I wanna win. I wanna work hard and do this. And that's the problem. So.
Gary Payton said that. Something like Steven Jackson. They said these guys don't have the love for the game no more like that. They just more care about the cause, the social media, the paparazzi following them here. There.
So the draft order is out. Not to interrupt you.
Yeah, I was trying to see. I got the alert too.
I don't. Please do not bring up my order. I don't even want to hear you guys' order. I like to see, I don't like spoilers, but just to let you know, I don't like spoilers. So I'm not even gonna respond to any more of those messages. I'm just gonna focus on the show.
Damn, son, I gotta.
Yeah,
I'm trying to see who is this.
no.
My phone will do not disturb.
Only person. Listen. Let's focus.
I already see the order.
Get back.
Damn, son.
Get
All right,
back.
Mike, let's finish this episode.
Get back
All
on
right,
the
all right, all right,
game.
all right. Yeah, sorry.
James
But anyway,
Harden.
yeah, James Harden. So yeah, James Harden is this, right? So pretty much with James Harden, we already know that he wants a trade. He was kind of like being a little bit of a baby in a sense, no disrespect to him, where he was getting mad and he wanted to like show them that, look, I'm going to do what I got to do, and it is what it is, and I'm just going to stick with it. You know what I mean? And I feel that, yes, you wanted to be traded. They pretty much catered to you and gave you everything that you wanted, but now you want to make this thing hard for the coach Silas, and also you got John Wall. You got decent, you got decent players. You know what I'm saying? You got a decent squad, and just see what it is. And like, for you to go out there and party, not wear a mask, and really try to like blatantly throw it in the face of these guys, I think it's kind of messed up.
I also heard about his partying days when he was back in OKC. Especially read this article, I forgot when they talked about the 2012 finals, especially they was in Miami. I mean, I understand you're in Miami, you're going to party, but they said a lot of times he was at the parties, and that's why he couldn't really focus during the finals, because he definitely was a no-show during that time period. So this didn't surprise me when I heard about all of this. About him partying, and he's coming to the preseason all out of shape and fat, and let's get it together. These players are too spoiled. That's their problem.
Yeah. And that's the thing that kind of baffles me sometimes. It's like, why even go through that process? You know what I'm saying? Like, why even, do that? You know what I'm saying? When you know that you wasn't 100% giving your all to the team. And I'm not saying he's not doing his thing as a player. I just feel that, he was another guy that I felt that cared about the accolades, but didn't really care about winning per se, or doing the right things to win. Like, he just thought his talent alone will get him the chip. You know what I'm saying? And I think that is ridiculous.
Listen, I've come to the conclusion that James Harden does not care about winning. I've come to this. This right here proves it. Dennis Rodman used to do this, but Dennis Rodman would get on that court and give 150% every single night, and then go party right after that. Yeah, that's Dennis. He wasn't. He took vacations. He missed practice, but that was his personality. We all know how Dennis was. And I think that, and he was winning titles before he became that party animal. So he had the resume already. Defensive Player of the Years, multiple Defensive Player of the Years, multiple rebound titles, couple of championships, and then he became the wild man, and he was still winning. So if you're winning, you can get away with it. That's why Phil let him do what he did, as you've seen when we grew up watching the Bulls. That was Dennis. Like, a lot of these younger folks were introduced to that during The Last Dance, but we always seen it, and we all know how crazy Dennis was. So for a guy like James Harden, who hasn't won anything but an MVP and some scoring titles, to be that way, this shows you. And I don't think anybody's going to want to play with him. And I just I heard something that said this was one of the things that Westbrook was upset about with him, and why he wanted to leave. So now we kind of know why Russ wanted out, because Russ wants to win. His game may not show it, but Russ wants to win. Russ doesn't like to lose. He plays his heart out. He wants to win. His game's a little erratic, but he wants to win. And he watched his friend just not take it serious. And he had enough. He had enough. And in 1 year.
He got a bunch of coaches fired, Kevin McHale, this person, that person.
And they let him get away with it in Houston. They let him get away with it.
Now that Steven Silas is there, I guess he probably said, "Look, no, we're not doing all of this stuff. We just
Maury's gone, D'Antoni's gone. These were the guys. And remember, Tillman Fertitta wasn't in charge up until about a year or two ago. So he's the new owner. So
someone trying to give these players the keys to the entire franchise, and
it's a joke. It's a joke, but who cares? Leave him. Let him sit there, and they should trade him. They should trade him. Listen, they should trade him to Minnesota.
Or
Send him to Minnesota. Send him to
a
Toronto.
small market team where really.
Send him to Detroit. There you go. Send him to
Send 'em-
Detroit. You want to part? You want to be out of Houston so bad? Let me send you to Detroit.
Mm,
Shout out to Derrick Rose. I wish he was
yeah,
back in Chicago though.
yeah,
But I don't want to insult everybody on the Pistons. But
yeah.
I don't know what that team is doing roster wise, but
I mean, look,
yeah,
man. I look at it like this, man. I do hope that these guys, do their thing and everything works out. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, but it's just like I said, it's just kind of unfortunate. A lot of these players, man, they just really caught up in themselves and they don't really understand the gravity of it. That's how, like, despite sometimes LeBron get me on my nerves, I give the man respect because at the end of the day, he understands, like, look, I gotta work to be great. Like, this is bigger than just me just playing ball. Like, I want more than just the individual accolades. I know, like, my legacy is what I do on this court and how I do it. Like, that's his legacy. He's not looking at it where it's like, oh, I'm gonna be here and I'm gonna do this and that, the other. He's looking at it from that perspective, like, yo, I am a guy who got to put in this work and I got to make sure I get it done. And to me, I feel that is the most respectable thing you can see from an individual like that. And I really do appreciate that from a classic basketball perspective. But at the end of the day, like I said, what I'm saying is that these guys, it's sad, and James Harden's a great player, but he is disgruntled. He's a guy who's going to complain. He's a guy, to me, I feel that he's not fully vested into the craft. Like, he's talented as hell. When he comes out there, he's going to play, but you can see that the work ethic is not there. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, we could give like a brief synopsis. The season starts the 22nd, which is Tuesday. Our Nets Hollister is going to be playing versus Golden State Warriors. I do feel that it's going to be an interesting season. I'm looking forward to it. I'm just gonna give my quick
yeah,
overview of who I think is going to make the playoffs and leave it at that. I do feel that as it stands right now, obviously Brooklyn's going to be in there. I think Milwaukee, Brooklyn, Toronto, Boston, the Heat, the 76ers, and who else? Yeah, I feel. Yeah, I mean Washington Wizards. I feel, and if I'm looking at the current standings, I do feel Indiana will take a step back. I do think that they will come drop out. I think Washington will come in there because they got Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal, and I feel they can play well. I think they'll get more wins than they had. I don't see the Knicks doing nothing. No disrespect. I don't see Chicago doing anything. I don't see Charlotte really doing much. Atlanta got better, but I don't see them making it to the playoffs. They might make a playing game, but that's what I see. I think the Nets will be in the top 3 of the East, if not number 1.
Damn right.
But I see that happening. As far as the West, I do. Obviously, you got the Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Houston, OKC. I don't feel is going to do that well this year. I think they're going to drop out. I feel that a team like either the Pelicans or Suns can make the playoffs in that spot. I think Portland still got some stuff to prove, and I think they can still make it. But I do feel that they kind of on the cusp too, as barely making the playoffs, in my opinion, on the West. Because you got to look at Golden State. You think Golden State going to stay at the bottom like they was last year? I don't think so. Yeah, they don't got Clay, but I do feel that they can actually make some noise. Houston, that's also another one, because if James Harden stays and he plays well and he actually plays like he want to play, I think they should be okay. If not, I don't know. But yeah, man, I don't know. But we'll see.
All right, so I go next for the East. I got Milwaukee, Toronto, Boston, Indiana, Miami, Philly, Brooklyn, and I feel like Orlando's going to be the team to drop off this year, due to Jonathan Isaac's, ACL injury. He's a big factor on that team. But I feel like the Hawks would be the team that sneaks in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They're very young. They improved their roster. Bogan, whatever however you say his name.
Yeah.
They got Ron. They got Garland. They added a lot of key pieces to that young team. And we all know Rondo's he's that veteran that can get them. He could lead the team and push them to the next level. On the West, I got the Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Utah, Dallas, Portland, and Golden State.
Okay.
Am I missing a team or?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's my 8.
There's a lot of teams sometimes kind of go through.
Yeah, I I took the time to write it down because I I didn't know how long we would have. I don't know what time we was going to get on today. But in the East, and I have them in order for this
Mm-hmm.
season. I have Milwaukee number one.
You gotta start over.
Huh?
Now
You
you go
gotta
ahead.
start over.
You go. No, you
You
go
got the
ahead.
wrong team first. No, I'm just playing.
Oh
Oh,
Jesus!
okay.
Stop it! Stop it!
Okay, I'm playing.
I have Milwaukee first, Brooklyn second, Boston third, Miami fourth, Philly fifth, sixth. I have Toronto, seventh, Indiana, eight is Washington with Atlanta, the ninth seed, probably the team that's the outside looking in. I made a little extra where I put that team that's going to be that's going to be fighting for that last spot. I don't think Atlanta's ready. Yes, they have Rondo, but the team is still pretty young. In the West, I have the Lakers one seed, Clippers two seed, Denver three, Utah four, Golden State five, Phoenix six, Portland seven, Dallas eight, with New Orleans as the team that out on the outside looking in. I think and this because I picked these teams to be the number one seed, Milwaukee and LA does not necessarily mean that's who I'm picking to be in the finals. I don't have a final prediction right now. I'll probably do that during the playoffs. But I'm doing this with the assumption of James Harden actually being there. And with the distraction of him, I don't think Houston even makes it with the team they have there, even if he stayed. So,
I agree.
and then I'll just throw it in there real quick. MVP, I'm picking Giannis. Defensive Player of the Year, I'm picking Gobert. And Rookie of the Year, I'm picking my man from the Chicago Bulls, number fourth pick, Patrick Williams. That's gonna be the sleeper right there. Ain't no
Okay.
Anthony Edwards, ain't none of them.
We'll see. I
Alright,
mean,
so
Mike.
for the MVP, I got Luca. But what else we did? MVP, Rookie of the Year, and what else?
Defensive player.
All right, so Rookie of the Year, MVP. I got Luca. Defensive Player of the Year, I'm going with Bam.
Okay.
Rookie of the Year, I'm stuck between three people, but it's either between LaMelo Ball, James Wiseman, and I'm going to say Killian Hayes if he starts. Those are three guys I'm leaning towards for Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, MVP. I don't think Giannis will get it for another year, a third year. I think they're gonna do something different with that MVP. I do feel that, like you said with Luka, I think Luka, because they've been talking about it all already. Like Vegas already kind of predicting it. Oh, Luka's gonna be MVP. So I already feel that it's already kind of biased in the sense. Not saying that
I know exactly what you mean when you
he's
say
not
that.
going to get it. I'm not trying
It's
to say
like-
he's not going to earn it. It's just like they already have it in their mind.
It's like
Penciled in that he gonna get it.
it's like
you know
they
what I'm saying?
speak it into existence.
True.
Yeah.
So I got people calling me already. I got Darius hitting me up. So he
No,
probably
no.
he got last pick, so he probably tight.
Come on, you're telling me his. Always said this one.
Yeah, we almost done.
I accidentally saw your text with Menelek, so I know his. Like, stop, please.
Well, I already I ain't gonna say about you, but
no.
son is about to be starting like in the next 20 minutes. It doesn't.
Yeah,
let's
so
wrap
can
this
we
up,
just,
y'all. Let's
can
wrap
we
this
just
up.
talk about the show?
All right, so we're going to talk about the show because honestly, I gotta get some other stuff.
Well,
prepared.
listen, we could wrap it up now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, cause I gotta call back Darius and stuff like that. Ankai's texting me saying crap about his pick and everything like that. But anyway.
But they do know that this was randomly picked, right?
No, they do know that, but some people hating. He was like, "Oh, I'm getting close to last. I don't want to do it." He being funny, but he was just trying to talk about his guy. But the funny thing about him, he didn't even play for his team. Like his friend does it. You know what I'm saying? His friend manages the team. Like he actually think he a real owner.
Wait,
have a higher GM.
which one is that?
That's the double wood guy.
Wait, that's one of my victims in the finals. So he not real. He ain't no real opponent. Like he don't.
Yeah, the only thing real about him is the money and the ownership of the team. Other people be doing his thing. He don't be picking it. You know what I'm saying? So
that's crazy.
I don't know why I don't care about this. I got some
Alright,
weird fantasy
so I
thing
guess
that coming up.
Let's wrap up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Anyway, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? You already know what time it is. I'm looking forward to the NBA season starting. I can't wait till Tuesday, God willing. And I'm looking forward to those games. KD is back. So far, the Nets been looking really good. I like the chemistry. That'll be another discussion we're going to talk about next week. And I wanted to get that involved. And I might have Aubrey in it because we were going through that whole thing. But we'll talk about that later. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. We're looking forward to just the NBA season in general. But anyway, I want to thank you guys again for watching and listening to the podcast. I know this is a quick one. We don't have nothing like today, but like I said, we're getting really hyped about our fantasy draft. It's going to probably take 2 hours to get done. But right now, we're getting hyped about that. And I want to appreciate you guys again for listening. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. It's a real quick thing. Please make sure you hit the notification bell so every time we put an episode out, y'all can get to it. We do appreciate the support. Thank you for the subscribers that we do have, the subscribers that we're getting. We do appreciate it. Please continue to show that love and that support. Merry Christmas, because we're probably not going to see you guys till after Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
Yes, happy holidays, everyone.
Kwanzaa.
Everything, you know what I mean? Enjoy yourself, stay safe, love your families, enjoy the time, and hopefully we ring in the new year. Well, we're going to see how before the new year, but, going into the new year with a new perspective, new hope, everything like that. So I want to thank you guys again for listening. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your evening. God bless. My